Hi, Neil here with Covers Camo, your source for custom seat covers. Today, we're doing the install on the 2021 Toyota 4Runner. This is going to be an awesome looking set. White Ostrich diamond stitch for the insert, black Ostrich trim, loaded up with the Patriot package, which is the MOLLE pockets paired with Old Glory, the American flag headrest logos. Really awesome set. Let's do this install. We're getting started on this install. We have a 2021 Toyota 4Runner that we're doing today. I've already done the passenger seat because it installs the same method as the driver's seat. So you can see this is installed already. The headrest, the backrest, the bottom. We have the white Ostrich diamond stitch as the center section, black Ostrich as the trim. Headrests are decked out with the American flag logos, looking sweet. Also, we have these loaded up with the MOLLE pockets. These are going to be on the driver and passenger sides on both rows, so they can put pistols on the inside and then also carry gear on the outside of it. This piece is installed as well already. It's a really simple install. It has this is the console. We call these hard console lid covers. And again, it's super simple install. It really doesn't have any straps at all. It just hooks around the back side right here. You tuck that back side in. And then here's this elastic on the front side. You just stretch that over and it pulls over like that. And you get that full coverage. And there's not any straps on the underside of this because it just fits so tight underneath there. And it allows for a tighter close when we have it like that. So console's done there. We're gonna move on to the driver's seat, and the driver bottom is the first one that we're gonna show you. It's the trickiest piece. And it's gonna look like this. Here's your driver bottom. Here's our MOLLE pocket on the front, pistol holster on the side right here. And what we'll do is start to fit it into place. We have these straps. These straps are gonna go on the back side. There's gonna be a draw cord around the outsides that we're gonna tie up. First thing you're gonna do is take the plastic that the seat cover came in, this plastic bag, and take this and actually put it through the crack in the seat right here, okay? And then that's gonna help as you slide this through right here. It's gonna reduce the friction, just allow you to slide that through a lot easier, okay? So that's a little trick for you to do as you're sliding that in. Another thing, in this part right here, it's nice to wear gloves just because it gets really tight on your hands right here. The next thing you're gonna need to do before you finish this is we need to go to the back side and release the felt backing back there. So this felt will release. There's an elastic on the back side right here, and the manufacturer has just taken this elastic and wrapped it around some solid springs underneath the seat. So just reach underneath, and usually you need to go to the very front of the elastic and then just pull forward on it, and that's what I did, and then it just released. But if you just play around with that, it's gonna release, and then it's gonna allow us to push. Here's that bag that we were starting to push through, and we can push that seat cover through on the back side right here. All right, so we're pushing this through right here. Now, Toyota and other vehicles too, they do have some cables on the back side of the seat, so you're gonna wanna be careful as you're pushing this through that you're not jamming too much pressure against any cables that are on the back side of your seat. I'm just gonna push it through lightly right now, just to make sure I can get a grip on the front side, or on the back side back there, and then we're gonna move to the back now that I push that through to that point. And these straps, I just had these wrapped around for right now, but now what we can do is push those straps towards the back, because they need to go towards the back side, back there, because they're gonna actually end up going underneath the seat and strapping to the front. And this is the cable I was talking about right here. So you can see that cable here, cables here. So that's what I'm saying, is you just wanna not put too much pressure on those. And now what I'll do is I can pull this bag out. Done with using the bag, since we've got the bottom of the seat cover through. Get these straps out right here. All right, so there will be some cutouts for your cables. Okay, so here's this outside cable right here, and the seat cover has a cutout for that right there. And same thing over here on this side, this yellow cable, there's gonna be another cutout on the back side of the seat cover right there, okay? So that's looking good there. Now what we need to do here is these outside straps are gonna go up to the front to go to buckles, okay? And so I can send these upwards towards the front side. And then this middle strap is actually gonna go underneath to a solid bar underneath the seat and then come back to itself and strap onto this buckle. But before I do that, I'm actually gonna take my draw cord and tie that up first and then finish with this one very last. So then it brings my draw cord up nice and tight to the seat. But before I do that, I'm gonna show you these outside straps, how to put those up towards these front buckles up here, because they're a little tricky on the front side of this 4Runner. So we're on the front side of the driver's seat, and what I want to show you here is that this 4Runner has this plastic front plate on it right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to pass the straps from the underside that I've passed up. And when I pass these up, I try to go above any electrical cables and cords. And now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take that strap and pass it up to right here. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other side over here and get both of these straps up through here, because it's going to be a lot easier to put this strap through the buckle right here when it's up in this location rather than underneath the seat, because it gets pretty tight underneath there. So what we'll do is put it through the buckle by going through the middle slot right here and then through the outside slot right like that. Okay, so we'll get that started, and then what we're going to do is pass that back down underneath. So now I've started to pass those down, and now the next thing I'll do is start to work this seat cover into this plastic trim. The plastic trim on this driver's side actually only goes to about right here, which will be a little tricky for our pistol holster. So we'll see how much, and we may not be able to use that as a pistol holster on this particular 4Runner. It may be more of a cell phone slot or a pepper spray blaster slot. That works. Two, we got a spot for the pistol on this MOLLE pocket, which will have plenty of space for pistols on it. Okay, so I've worked that underneath that front plastic trim right there. And I'll show you on this outside piece as well. I'm working this in, but I won't finish it. We'll show you that here in a little bit. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna reach underneath, now that I've worked that into the plastic, and I've reached underneath and I'm starting to strap this down by taking my other hand and pulling on that strap, okay? So I can tighten those down now. And the next thing we're gonna show you is how to do this outside string and tie this drawstring together. So we're gonna take this outside strap and we're gonna drop it down in between the seat plastic, the outside plastic, and the seat cushion itself. And there is a kind of a metal bar that connects the seat cushion to this outside plastic right here. We're dropping it, we're gonna drop this just posteriorly, just right behind it, right in that area right there, okay? So we're gonna drop that down. If I just hold this seat back like this, then that gives me plenty of space to pull that down. So here's this string right here. And then what we can do is just work this string towards the back, okay? Like that. And then what we'll do is this elastic right here, while we're here, we might as well drop this one down as well. Okay, so we're gonna drop this guy down right there. I'll reach underneath and grab that one. Okay, so then there's that elastic. And this elastic is gonna go underneath the seat and tie off. This drawstring out here is gonna go towards the back and tie off to the other drawstring. And then what I'm gonna do is once I get those tied down, is we can take the rest of this and tuck the rest of this in And there is a plastic trim tool that you can use to help with this, or you can just kind of work that in with your hands like that. What you're going to want to do is tuck that in to the seat like that, and I'll keep working that. Once I get these tied underneath, I'll finish trimming this out right here. Here's this plastic trim tool, and this helps to tuck in the fabric in spots like this where it gets pretty tight. And what you can do is take that and just tuck that in a little bit more in these areas like that. That just helps to get that fabric into these spots where it gets a little tight right there. Here's the outside part of this drawstring. I'm going to take this and go on the inside of this plastic right here. And now what I'm going to do is tie a noose into one side right here, like that right there. So just tying a knot right there. So now I have a loop on one side right here. And I'm going to take the cord on the other side here, come over here, go through this, and then we're going to pull this tight here. Okay, and this part just needs to be snug tight. You don't have to crank on it too hard. It's the string around the outside is more for aesthetics anyhow, to kind of keep the outsides curved up to the seat. Once you have your desired tightness, when it's nice and snug, you're going to pinch that off right here and then tie a knot in the string right there, okay? And so I'll pull that snug, okay, get it right there. I'm gonna tie this off. I like to do kind of a simple knot where it's like ties off, but allows me to still untie it if I need to take the cover off for any reason. But you want it to be nice and tight so it's not gonna slide off. Okay, so now that we have the string done here, now I can take this middle strap, go underneath the seat to a solid bar. I'm going back to this buckle right here. Going through that buckle. That locks down the back side so it never slides forward. I see a lot of cheap seat covers where even if they have straps underneath, they end up sliding forward and they don't look good after years. This makes sure that it locks the back side down. It's our locking strap. It's awesome. So that's good there. Now the last piece is that elastic around the outside that we had dropped down. And what you can do is stretch this over. Sometimes you can find a spring about the right size to hook this onto. And I'm not finding anything right now. Let's see. Okay, I actually do have a little hook underneath here. It's like a little plastic hook that they've used to, they have multiple different hooks to like attach cables onto. This is one that wasn't used, and I'm just gonna hook that elastic on there. The other thing I could have done is I could tie that elastic to a solid bar, like a spring, a seat spring underneath, and that would work really good too. I've done that multiple times. So the last thing I'm doing now is I've reached underneath. I have that strap, these two outside straps, and I'm compressing the top of the seat with one hand and I'm pulling back with the other. It just finishes the seat install here and just helps to compress that down nice and tight to the seat, and that way it's nice and snug there. So that's all looking really good. I'm really happy with how everything turned out there. Bottom's all done. Now it's time to move to the backrest. First thing we're gonna do on the backrest is move the seat back down. We had it up all the way. That's a tip when you're doing the bottom, is move that seat as high as it'll go. Now that we have that down, we're gonna take the headrest off. Just pushing this side button to take the headrest cover off right there. So here's the backrest. Got the white ostrich diamond stitch again, and black ostrich trim. And the backside has the special ops pockets on it, loaded so they can load up rifles and bows. The backside here. Okay, so we are going to put this on like this, here, like that. There's this felt on the front side right here, and this felt actually integrates with the seat bottom. That's why I did the seat bottom first. And once I have it to this spot, I'm going to take my hands and stretch it around these headrest posts right up over here. Okay, and so you can see how that stretches around like that. Okay, and that tucks underneath right there. You can use your trim tool to help with some of that if you want, but when it's simulated leather, like the ostrich, like this, you can pretty much just do it with your hands here. Not a problem. Okay, so that, just gonna run my hands over that, just gonna make sure things are conforming down like that. Perfect. Now for this part, what I'll do is I'll grab the plastic again, one last time, just to help reduce a little bit more friction as I'm passing this felt through right here. Okay? So what I can do is I'll actually just push it through like this, right here. Again, that plastic will just make that a little bit easier. Pass that through, right there. Now I'll go to the back side, finish pulling that felt through. Okay, so I've pulled that plastic out and now I'm pulling the rest of this felt out. There is going to be one felt piece that's going to go on the outside of this cable right here. And then I'll pull this out right here. And this one is just going to go right next to this yellow cable right there. There's not another outside piece. It goes right there. Okay, so we're just going to pull this through right there. Then what you'll do is take this felt and you'll stick this onto that Velcro right there, okay? So you're just gonna pull that. This is the modified install. George came up with this. It's a beautiful install technique. It's just so much easier than the old method. You have to take all these elastics and tie them underneath. Anyhow, this is a sweet way to install. So you just stick that down right there. Pull that there, stick it on, and then once you've stuck that on, always go around to the front side and make sure everything's looking even and smooth. But once you've checked that, then you can just take this felt, fold that back like that right there, and then what we'll do is take this back flap, fold that down, and then that elastic's going to hook up underneath the seat again here in a minute. So this all looked good on the front side. Things are looking smooth. They're lining up, looks good there. Now it's time to do the airbag section right here. This is where your side airbags would blow out of the seat. Airbags are built in there. So we're gonna take this, pull that nice and tight right there, like that, right there, okay? And then we'll take this one right here, stick that down, and tuck that in, okay? Now we're gonna move to the back side and do that back flap. Taking this back flap right here, pushing this underneath, and I'm taking that elastic and hooking it back up to a solid spring underneath the seat. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this back side. This is the special ops pockets. When it's a special ops, it's black Dura like this. And so we're gonna take this black Dura, and it has Velcro on it, stretch that down, stick that onto that back felt right there, okay? So now that driver backrest is donezo. Now we're doing the headrest. So changing out TRD for Old Glory. Let's do this. So we're gonna pop this over right here. Obviously on this one, Old Glory is going first, but maybe you didn't order a headrest logo. And if that's the case, should have, but it's okay if you didn't. there's going to be a hook Velcro, scratchy Velcro on the front side, soft Velcro on the back side. That's how you orient it there. I am going to take my gloves off to finish this piece here. You want to fit it down and get these bottom pieces pulled around like that. Right there. Okay, and then I'm gonna stick that Velcro together right there. Okay, and what we'll do on this one is, it's a little trick. It doesn't always make a huge difference, but sometimes you can line up the inner fabric all so it's kind of going one direction. This one, I have that fabric where it's sewn together on the inside. I have that on the outside of this hem right here, and I'll do that around the top as well. Doesn't always make a huge difference, but I just like to do little things like that when I can. Okay, so now what we'll do is, that's all looking good right there. Here's the back side, side view, underside right there. We'll pop this back in now. Sweet. That looks good. Right, like that. Just make sure everything's looking good, lined up. Okay, now it's time to move to the back seats. We're on the rear seats now, and I've already done this 40 seat. As you can see, this is the outside driver 40, and done the headrest cover, backrest, and bottom. But once you've seen how I do the 60 section, you'll be able to do this 40 section just as easy. Now this is actually a 40-20-40 backrest and a 60-40 bottom. So we'll show you how to do the 60 bottom, the 40 over here, and then also this armrest section right here. And that's what we're gonna start with. Here's the cover for the armrest. Here's the cutout for the cup holders. We call this a fold down rear armrest, or just a rear armrest. Sometimes we call it a rear armrest / cup holder. It's just an armrest that folds out of the seat. Again, all custom fit to your vehicle, whatever you have there. So we're gonna fit this over, spot for the cup holders there. Now there is gonna be this little cutout right here for the pull tab right there. So that's accessible there. Push that back. Okay, there's this Velcro that I've opened up already, and we need to get this attached back together. So I've taken this right here. We're gonna stick that Velcro together right there. Do the same thing on this side over here now. Okay. Now there's this Velcro towards the very far back. Pull that up, stick that together right there. And I think I got it. Possibly. Let's make sure Oh, I got it. Got it all off centered right there. So I got to bring this one back and center that up a little bit better. So gotta rotate this cover a little bit this way. So there is enough space I can actually fit my other arm down on the back side of this right here. I'm just gonna get that lined up right here. Stick that down. There. Okay, that looks a lot better there. Okay, so there's that armrest on right there. Now what we're gonna do is pop off this headrest. I actually think I have this headrest piece here pretty close. We can do this headrest next. It's a pretty simple piece that we'll do next here. Okay, so now we're gonna get this headrest cover on. And it's always a little tricky to line up the front to back on these. And I do believe it goes on like this right here. So right now I'm putting the hook Velcro on the front side. So this cover just has an elastic around the outsides, but it does have a Velcro in the middle to help connect it together. There we go. So then what we'll do is I'll come back and I'll trim this a little shorter because it doesn't need to be quite so long. But then we'll stick that Velcro together right there. Bring that back just a little bit more. That looks good there though. That will line up nice like that. So we got that headrest on. Now we're gonna do the 40 section backrest right here. And so to do that, we need to get this headrest off. And to do that, we'll just push that side pin in right there. Now this seat belt right here, this needs to go on the outside of this seat cover. So what you're gonna need to do is open this seat cover up with this Velcro and then stretch this around and then connect it underneath this seat belt. Okay, so we're gonna be pulling the seat belt out, putting the seat cover on, and then attaching this together, and so the seat belt is on the outside of the seat cover. All right, so rally cap time. You gotta flip the cap back. Once you're this far into the install, you need a little bit more motivation. Rally, here we go, let's do this. Okay, so that will flip the whole seat forward right here. And I gotta figure out here how to just get just this part of the seat down. Let's see if we can figure out. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this right here, this piece right here, that latch or that lever will release it, so then it splits. That's the 40, 20, 40. So here's the 40, here's the 20 backrest. And what we're doing right now is getting this 40 section installed. And I'm gonna flip this around here now. Fit this on. I act like these are really hard, guys, but the install's really not too bad. It'll be just fine. Okay, now here's the biggest trick with this, is I see a lot of people not pulling the seatbelt out. Make sure you pull this seatbelt out. That's the whole reason for this Velcro here, is so you can pull the seatbelt out and then get it underneath the seatbelt, get the cover underneath the seatbelt there. I am tucking the seatbelt material underneath the, oh, yep, there we go. Underneath the trim right here, and there's that hole for this connector piece where it connects to that 20 backrest. Now that I've pulled this seatbelt out right here, I can take this section right here and get this lined up, okay, like that. It's about lined up right there. And we're gonna wanna connect this Velcro up. Now, connect this to itself here. And get that lined up right at the top, right there. Start going down. Connect that together here. There's even Velcro down here at the very bottom, right there. Okay, and that goes down to the felt, right like that. Okay, so that's looking good. Again, up in this area, this is where you're gonna wanna use your trim tool and just tuck that underneath there a little bit. Okay, so that's all looking good, tucked in. Okay, and the other thing we'll do here is around these headrest posts. Okay. Tuck those underneath the headrest posts. Right there, and then out here, I'm also gonna tuck this piece in for the cover underneath this button. You don't have to do this, but it looks nice when you do it. So I like doing it. Tuck that underneath right there. That looks better. Right there, okay. Now, next step is to take this felt that's on the front right here. We gotta pass this down and towards the back side. There's gonna be Velcro on the back side of the seat cover to attach to. Now, one reminder is move this seat bottom in the up position on this 4Runner as you're doing this install, because it allows you to actually access this spot right here. Okay, here's this felt. That's the majority of it, and then there's one other spot where there's a little bit more. There's a small little sliver that we need to grab as well. And I'll pass that. It's on this side right here. It's that piece that had the Velcro on it. There it is. There we go. Okay, so there's that piece right there. So what we're gonna do is take the back side of this cover now and stick that on to this felt. So we can give it a nice tight pull. Then take the cover, pull it down nice and tight, and stick it on to that felt. Okay, nice. So that's stuck down right there, like that. That's looking good. All right there. There are the sections for the child seat belts right here that you push through these sections to attach in those child seat belts right there. So that's looking good. Our seat belt is exposed. That's the main thing I wanted to show you here. You can still get to that seat belt now. Now we have a little section that we're going to attach on the back side right here. Let me grab that. Okay, so this section on the back side right here, this is just to give coverage for this piece. So if you have this piece down, you're putting bags on it or whatever you have on here, it's just keeping this clean, easier to wipe down. And so it goes like this. It's just this section that covers. This still gives you access to your child seat tether right here. And it's just a kind of a square piece cover that sticks to the carpet. There's Velcro on it. It sticks to the carpet right there. So you get coverage on that. Okay. This hold up right there. Like okay, so now it is time to do the 60 section bottom. So this is this bottom that folds up like this right here. And it's quite convenient that it does fold up like that, because now we can access the bottom of the seat. So what we'll do is slide this cover over like this. And there's going to be slots for the straps on the back, or for the pull strap right there. And then I'm going to take this Velcro right here, make sure this is lined up where I want it, right here, and then we're going to take that Velcro and stick that down to the back side of the carpet, right there. Same thing over here. Okay, now the next step of this install is taking this drawstring and pulling this nice and tight around the outsides. And we have to make sure this drawstring is on the front low enough around the outside of the seat to hook onto it. And we are going to do that same technique where we tie a knot in one side, like a little noose like that right there. And then we're gonna come around, tie this off like that. What I'll do is tie this just like that to start out. I'm gonna go on this cover, finish pulling this down. Yeah. Okay, and now that I've pulled that down a little bit more, I'm going to release this, pull out a little bit more slack. Okay, I pulled out a little bit more slack there. Now I'm going to tie this off again, like that. Okay, now I'll come back here and tie out and cut this string. There's just a lot of extra string right there. We don't need to have so much extra string underneath the seat. But I'll trim that off. But once I've done that, you'll see that the 60 section bottom is done. So seat belts are all accessible. That's all looking good right there. Now the last thing we'll do is the outside headrest. Okay, so here's this rear outside headrest. You can see that I got it lined up here because there's gonna be a hole on the outside right here for this adjustment bar that slides the headrest down. And also Old Glory's on the front of this one. And we got the hook Velcro on the front side. There, this. So we're gonna fit this over here. Goes on very similar to that other headrest that I was showing you, the front headrest. Now, when I'm sliding this on, I'm gonna slide it underneath right there, like that. And then tuck it underneath that section, right there. Just getting these Velcro pieces out, sticking them together right now. Alrighty. One thing sometimes I'll do is if there's a little extra, I'll just point that towards the inside right there. Like that. Just so it kind of goes on the inner portion of the headrest and then sticking out. Okay, but all in all, there we go. That looks good. We're done there on the headrest. So get this straightened out a little bit more, just make sure everything is lined up good. So but that's just of the install right there. You can pop that back on like that. Okay, and then there is that adjustment bar there here. So if you wanted to leave your headrest down like that, you still can. More common though is people are going to have those up in the up position like that. Okay. So that finishes out the install on the 4Runner today. Great job if you've been working through this, and turned out great inside here. Love how this looked. White ostrich, diamond stitch, black ostrich. Paired with that, loaded up with the MOLLE pockets and headrest logos. Looked really nice. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Neil here with Covers Camo, your source for custom seat covers. If you want to see more videos like this, jump over to coversandcamo.com. We offer seat covers for trucks, Jeeps, cars, SUVs, and UTVs. So if you have a vehicle you're thinking about getting seat covers on, jump over to Covers Camo and we'll get a set going for you today. Thanks.